Dude, Ivan, what do you think of the press conference, bro?
Dude, it's crazy.
It started out hella slow,
Listen,
huh?
it started off with just them like having regular conversations. The typical, hey, how do you guys feel today? Blah blah blah, whatever, whatnot, right? Typical Patty Pimblett and Michael Chandler glazing each other.
Yep, definitely.
John Anik glazing them, being like this. If we have Michael Chandler here to my right, is he not? Pretty much saying like they're gonna get fight of the night. We had Bryce Mitchell, brother. All right, John Silva.
That's where
Bryce
it picked up a
Mitchell.
little bit.
Yeah, so John Silva started barking all that, and Bryce Mitchell continues with the dog jokes. No Izzy.
No, this
He was
guy.
like, he was talking about I've killed a lot of dogs back in my day, or whatever he said. I forgot what he said, but he said he's been pretty slick and witty with the comments.
Dude,
You know,
honestly, he has.
he's been getting the better of the exchanges.
Dude, definitely.
You know,
He's been stealing
like
all the
the
aura.
other day where he's like, when he started barking, he's like, "You're barking up the wrong tree, motherfucker."
Yep.
We got to bleep that out, but you know.
Yeah, and then when he, I don't know if you saw, but on media day, the reporters were asking him a bunch of like controversial topics, like trying to get him to say some other dumb stuff
They were
again.
trying to get him to screw up, but
Yeah,
that man
yeah.
is trained.
Yeah, dude.
But he don't need no training.
Some of
Everything's
it,
natural.
yeah, some of his answers were crazy, dude. He was reciting Bible verses off of his top of his head.
That's a man of. You could see him during the face-offs how locked in he was.
Dude, for
That
real.
man
Dude, for
is
real.
locked in, and I'm kind of I said John Silva in my prediction, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Mitchell goes out there and reminds us why he was viewed as a good prospect.
Yeah, and he's not even that bad, bro. His 2 losses are to Topuria, or in the UFC are to Topuria, bro. Look where Topuria is right now. And
Topuria and Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett, the hardest hitting dude pound for pound, I would say, and Elliot Topuria. Elliot Topuria,
yeah.
that's not that's an amazing, So it's it's he's a talented fighter. I'm glad he did what he did in his last fight against Kron Gracie and slamming him and knocking him out, because that was beautiful. But the only thing that scares me about Bryce is that he was getting tagged in that fight against Kron Gracie.
Bro, I was about to point that out. If he's getting tagged by Kron Gracie, bro.
Kron Gracie, bro.
Kron.
Listen, man, I don't train or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure I can hit harder than Kron Gracie. Because man, I've never seen nepotism in a mix besides him and Herbert Burns. Never seen nepotism in my life
Mm,
in MMA.
yeah.
But it's
Man, all that aura
crazy. What were your thoughts?
that freaking Bryce Mitchell is emitting, dude. So cool, but I still think Silva can beat him. And I still think it's probably gonna be okay. Well, for my prediction, I said it was gonna go to decision, but I think John Silva is still gonna clip him and knock him out.
You think he's gonna tag him?
Yeah,
I will have to see, because I like I said, I was really confident in picking John Silva by knockout, but the way everything and the aura and the energy has been shifting, I feel like it's shifting towards Bryce's favor, and in that way, he's gonna be the one that gets he's locked in. He wants to win this fight.
yeah.
He needs to win this fight.
And I feel like the crowd is definitely gonna be behind him on Saturday.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, and also he said he had something special prepared for his walkout, so I'm excited to see what he put together. Anyway,
All right, back to the topic.
Anyway, that's where the press conference started to pick up a little bit. Yeah, very dead, but where it picked up and where it peaked was the exchange between Yair Rodriguez and Diego Lopes, bro.
Dude, I did not expect that to pop off.
Yeah,
I
dude,
didn't know I needed the matchup until they started talking shit, and I'm like, man, this is like a Brian Ortega, Yair Lopez, Yair Lopez. I meant to say Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega are pretty much what Diego Lopez is. And man, that fight, I need it. This is the best case scenario for me. This is the best case scenario for me. Yair Rodriguez knocks out Patricio, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And Lopez loses to Volkanovski. That sets up a perfect matchup between the two. Because
Actually,
Yair's
it
not going to
does.
leapfrog over Lopez
Definitely not.
or over Movsar Evloev.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because that's he Movsar Evloev has the next title fight, doesn't he?
I assume so.
Yeah, okay.
Assuming everything
Hmm.
we know, I think he has the next title fight.
Yeah.
So in order for that fight to happen, either Lopez beats Volkanovski, defends it against Evloev, and then at that same time, Yair beats someone like Aljamain Sterling, or like,
Okay.
and obviously he beats Pitbull, Aljamain Sterling, and then like someone else,
Or
or
like Leon
however the
Edwards.
UFC seems to.
No, not
Leon
Leon
Edwards,
Edwards.
Lerone Murphy.
Fucking Leon
Ler-
Murphy. Bro, they're both
oh yeah,
they're
Lerone
both
Murphy.
dude. They're both boring British
They're both
fighters, bro.
English. They're English. So ideally, if that fight were to happen, it'd have to be one of those two ways. But man, that fight would be such a great fight.
Dude, and this all
It
started.
picked up
Yeah, dude, and this all started because Yair Rodriguez was throwing shade at Diego Lopes for representing.
week.
Yeah, the entire week, and for representing two countries, which, to be honest, that's kind of a dumb take in my opinion. I feel like
Yeah, kind of like it reminds me of the whole Dricus and Adesanya situation,
Mm-hmm.
and as well the fact that Yair, I like Yair. You know, I have a bias towards him. He's a Mexican fighter.
Yeah,
all that.
me too.
But the only issue I have with Yair is the fact that he's saying he can't claim this when Yair Rodriguez lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, lives in Chicago, lives in the States, and Lopez lives and trains in Mexico.
Yeah.
So that is the only issue that like doesn't make sense. And then the other fighter, because I saw a video about this. I can't remember who exactly quoted it, but Tracy Cortez liked a video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it was an MMA Guru video where I saw it,
Mm-hmm.
but she liked a video of Yair Rodriguez like slandering that
Mm-hmm.
another Mexican fighter who lives in the States.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you're kind of like, I don't know, but
Yeah, in my
it
opinion,
popped off really fast.
yeah, in my opinion, you should be able to represent whoever you want. You know.
Whoever, wherever.
Yeah, whoever, wherever.
And Velasquez, no one had a problem with him.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually, it makes me proud that Diego loves Mexico so much. You know.
Yeah, he doesn't have to represent it, but
Yeah.
he recognizes, you know, and that's why a lot of people were like him confused about him wearing a cowboy hat, like the Tejana, you know, like
Yeah, La Tejana.
that, you know, because he's from there. He wants to represent,
Yeah.
and it just feels like there's a lot of envy now because if Lopez becomes the champion, they're not gonna see Yair as the Mexican fighter at featherweight anymore.
Dude, what?
They're gonna
For
see Lopez, and that's
real?
why. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna. I believe it's just that
didn't-
Lopez is envious of the fact that someone else is gonna be representing
Dude, I
Mexico
didn't think
and
of
Brazil.
that.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's just a lot
huh?
of envy. It feels like.
Yeah. And that's definitely a reason why this should be a fight, like you were saying.
You have that narrative going into the fight
Mhm.
of, you know, apparently Diego Lopez and some of his training partners jumped one of Yair Rodriguez's training partners,
Yup, and this is where it started to escalate more
Yep.
at the press conference because of this.
but then it came out that apparently the guy that they apparently jumped had mistreated a woman inside of the inside of Lopez's gym, and a lot of the speculation is that Lopez, they're talking about Grasso, because Lopez and Grasso train together,
Yeah.
and
they're
obviously I
teammates.
feel like there might be some, you know, Grasso and Lopez love story we don't know about. You feel me? And like obviously if he were to do it, if something were to happen that bad that would make him, you know, crash out and like react the way he did, it would make sense in
Yeah.
that matter. Because
That he got
if you
so
see
mad.
one of your loved people, exactly, if you see one of your loved people like getting hurt or mistreated, you want to be like, hey, you know, you want to bring attention. But to jump them, that's like you need to. That's like you
Yeah,
know,
there needs to be a reason.
a valid reason.
A valid reason, yeah.
But like I said, this is all speculation. This is all apparently. We don't know nothing about this.
Yeah, you know how it is with speculation and stuff going around
A lot
the
of he
MMA
said,
world.
she
Yeah,
said.
yep, definitely.
And the best part about this to me is this wasn't just for the camera. This was natural. This is like something that started popping off. Because
Yeah.
the first thing that Yair said was like, I was waiting to tell you this to your flipping face, you know?
Yeah, he said something like that along those lines.
Yeah.
Like he
Along
was
those lines,
waiting.
obviously.
Uh-huh.
He's like I've been waiting for this moment, you know, like this is the time I can, talk to you about that.
Dude,
And obviously it seems so natural. And then even after the cameras had or not the cameras, after the microphones had cut away,
they were
the
still
cameras
at it.
panned to them, still going, talking back and forth, and they were talking about like squaring up.
Dude, and
And
also
really
I also like how Volkanovski was snooping into what they were saying too.
he was talking to Chandler. They
No,
were both confused. And like,
no, they were, but when the mics cut off, you could see Volkanovski like snooping into what they were saying.
oh, I don't know.
I don't know if you
see
saw that, but I did. I did. I'll show it to you later.
Yeah. Nah. Volk, he's invited to the carne asada. He's gonna be the one that's cooking it, cooking it with Volk.
Cooking with Volk.
Other plot or talking points is Dominic Reyes, Nikita Krylov. They got like 15 seconds of screen time.
Dude, yeah.
That was kind of, but they got, it's good to see those two fighting, especially Nikita Krylov, because I remember for a while there was rumors of him like being dead, being deceased.
Like he disappeared, huh?
Yeah, that he disappeared, and then out of nowhere he just popped up.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And
That's good.
he's here
That's
now.
good. He's okay.
Yeah, it's great to see. I hope they have he has a good fight. Even though I want Reyes to win,
Yeah.
But man,
It's gonna be cool. I am a little worried with Karlov's ring rust. Is that what they call it?
yeah, ring rust. Like he's been out for.
Yeah, but I still think it's gonna be a good fight. But yeah, Ivan, you got anything else?
Yeah, I'm excited for this weekend's fights. Hopefully, I pray. I remember this happened last time with Lopes's last opponent. It was like less than 24 hours notice, or not last, but when he fought Ige, or when he was supposed to fight Ortega and then fought Ige. Hopefully, nothing happens where these fighters get injured. I know April's been unlucky, an
Yeah.
unlucky month. We had that card last week, and then on April 1st, funnily enough, Tony Ferguson a couple years ago when he was fighting Khabib got injured, and that fight got torn apart.
Right.
So hopefully, April doesn't play a sick twist on this.
Yeah, dude. You know what's even crazier? That Tony Ferguson fight got called off too. And the
He
GFL.
got injured. Oh, Tony Ferguson's not fighting?
He was fighting. No, he was fighting in the GFL,
No,
but
I know, but like I'm saying,
it got canceled. No, it got canceled.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying. Hopefully nothing crazy happens and any of these fights get canceled. So knock on wood. That
Give me a second. I got to stand up. My
yeah,
desk is over here.
hit it.
All right, there you go.
But yeah, knock on wood, like we just did. But everything will be perfectly fine and intact for this
We get
Saturday.
the great fights. Hopefully, we don't have any stinky fights. Because we have a lot of star power, and sometimes we tend to have some pretty like sick matchups that we assume, and they're kind of,
But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Ivan and I wanted to go over the press conference and just give our final thoughts for the fights this Saturday. You got anything else, Ivan?
Hopefully, everyone tunes in. Everyone has a good weekend, and we all get to see some incredible fights.
Perfect. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.